Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Mean Girls Interrupted. And you can see if you're watching this, if you're just listening to this, you can't see on John's screen his background
Yeah, it's a
um,
Barbie background.
because this episode is dedicated to Barbie. So if you have not watched that movie, which at this point, the amount of money it's made, I feel like everyone
I
has
feel
watched
like,
it.
yeah, it's definitely touched everyone in the world. No, but I mean, if you haven't seen it, uh, just see it first because we're gonna spoil it. We're
We
gonna
are going to
spoil.
spoil it. We spoil every movie, and we never say that up top, but every movie we do
Yeah,
spoil. We go through everything. We're not just a review, we synopsize and sometimes
just
do the
talk
whole,
about it.
and we talk about the movie. And today we're talking about Barbie because Barbie is one of the most polarizing, um, I think,
Is it
movies
polarizing?
for straight white men or just straight men in general. It's polarizing.
Are people upset?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Straight
oh.
men are upset about Barbie.
I didn't realize there was a discourse over a Barbie doll movie.
There is because they hate women.
Oh, good.
They hate women. And I also just read, and it was a Reddit thing where a girl broke up with her boyfriend over the Barbie movie because he was pissed off at it.
Oh.
So if you guys want to search that, if you haven't seen it, they broke up and it's pretty wild
I mean,
over a movie.
it's like,
Fragile male
um,
egos. They're alive and well.
yeah, and I think we're gonna get to this, but with the context of having seen the movie,
Oh shit.
to
I'm so
like,
sorry. I just slammed my elbow into the corner.
oh, did it hit the funny bone?
No, it didn't. And I'm so thankful.
Oh God, are you in pain?
No.
Well,
No,
you
I
barely
am
even.
internally,
Oh,
but
right, but
it's
not
not
because of the
physically.
elbow.
No.
Well, that's good, I
Yeah.
guess.
So Barbie.
Barbie is not an important enough movie for me to get so upset about it. Like,
But here's the thing though, it's like it's a movie.
it's a movie.
That's the operative word there. Movie. It's
But
not real.
is it art? Is movie art?
I mean, that's subjective.
Art can be deeply influential.
It
And
can.
I feel like this movie is okay. So you're touching on something with this whole like straight guys and straight women getting mad and upset and things like that and breaking up over it. One of my things, and we'll talk about it more as we go, is this is despite having a transgender woman in there and a lot of gays. Let's just be
Yes,
honest.
there's a lot of gays.
um, there's this movie is very boy versus girl.
This
It's cis boy versus cis girl. It's
it
very hetero normative dynamics. So for me, I felt on the outside looking in throughout the experience, however enjoyable that it was.
it okay. It is kind of like a fishbowl. It is
Right?
kind of like a fishbowl. Like you're watching from the outside, which
But
is
by the way, we're
what
gay. We're gay. If you
we
didn't know
are.
it,
We're
if you're just tuning in, we are. Spoiler alert: Travis and I are gay homosexuals,
we
and
are totally queer and we pretty much love everybody. As
yeah,
long as you're a good person, we love you. And we do have our own opinions, which I'm so sorry. Sometimes our opinions don't come across the way. And I realize this listening back to episodes. Sometimes when I say stuff, I'm like, oh, that sounds very Republican, but it's not. And I
does it?
promise,
I
no,
never realized it.
sometimes I always feel like I don't know, maybe just because like my opinions are strong, but I'm sorry. I hope you guys don't think that.
No, you are not. You are like the least controversial person I know, but maybe it's just because we agree on a lot of things.
I think so. I think we do agree on most things. But
Yeah.
this movie is an outside looking in. Well, it was
If
okay.
you're a gay person, I get, well, just for me
Okay.
personally, and
No,
for context,
for
though.
context, but
But
not just for you. Because, and let me tell you this before
yeah,
we get into it, it took me a good 24 hours after watching this movie to really think about it.
yeah,
Because when I left the theater, I truly, I didn't know what my thoughts were.
I exactly that was my experience too because I got out of it and like uh uh my partner and I were driving home and I was just like we were talking about it but like in a we were just sort of picking it apart technically as far as like the movie making was like the
Yeah.
filmmaking and then we started like get into themes and stuff and I was just like we were both sort of at a loss of how to feel about it.
John, that was my experience. I was like, what do I feel? I was like, I don't know. Because, and here's why I laughed. I
Yeah,
laughed quite a few times during this movie.
it was funny for
But
sure.
also, and I will say this up front to those of you who have not seen it, and for those who have, I'm sure you're going to relate. This movie, it felt so the word okay, I'm gonna say overwhelming, but it's not
Mhm.
the word. It's
There is a lot going on.
so
Uh, it's sort of like it's sort of like inundates. It sort of like comes at you with a lot. With like the not I mean it's sort of like it's the I think the tone and the world itself
there's a
is
busyness
sort
to
of
everything in this movie.
yeah, it's pretty intense to the point, and like the pacing is really fast, and the cuts are really
John,
fast.
it's fast. That's what it is. It
It's
hits you like a brick.
right, and it's all done in like this really vibrant pink and blue at
That
every turn. And
right.
so I'm just sort of like I can't. My brain just doesn't have time to absorb what it's looking at. Um, but I mean, it's sort of like in the like it's sort of like watching a Guardians of the Galaxy movie where like all of the CGI is just like you don't know what's going on, but you know that it's really visually cool and
And well,
awesome.
the thing about this is I'm glad you touched on CGI because almost everything in this movie was practical,
Practical,
which
yes.
I
Like
love. That's an amazing,
it
amazing feat.
it's such a great choice for to do everything practical on like Greta Gerwig was I think inspired a lot by like the golden age of Hollywood films and how everything was done on a soundstage.
Which I think is
And
amazing.
yeah, because you're in a doll world where everything is physical and tactile, and you have to sort of like let your imagination go different places to convince yourself that you're playing in a real spot.
Which I think is kind of
So
cool too and interesting. And for those of you who are just barely knowing who Greta Gerwig is, for those of you who know, you
yeah,
know
she's
Lady
the
Bird,
director.
right? She did Lady Bird.
She did Lady
If
Bird
she did Little Women with Emma Watson,
and
um,
T Shao,
and
uh,
yes,
Tim, little
Timothy.
Timmy Tim
Yeah, well, Timmy Tim was in Lady Bird.
was also in Lady Bird as like the brooding like
Yes,
guy.
if you remember, I love Lady Bird. I think Lady
Yeah,
Bird's amazing, and that was an A24
it
release.
was. Yeah. Hmm.
Which so A24 has, I think they have a puzzle of her cast, like a pink her pink cast
That's funny.
that
Yeah.
you can buy from A24.
Their A24 is like the funniest studio. It's I don't I mean they do I watched an A24 film yesterday, which was a mistake because
Oh,
it was a downer.
don't tell which
What
one was it? The one
it's
that you text me?
it was called After Sun.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's with Paul Mescal and
Oh,
um he Mescal.
I don't know.
He's
I
like
just tried
Scottish.
mezcal for like 2 weeks ago for the first time.
Yeah, we're from the rural Southwest, so mescal is how we're gonna pronounce it.
Yeah, mezcal.
Yeah, like it's about the spoiler alert. It's about the last time that a father is with his like 10 or 11-year-old daughter before he commits suicide.
Oh, that is so depressing.
Yeah, and it's not like said out loud because it's just them two, and he's just trying to give her a great vacation in Turkey before he does it,
Oh,
before he sends her back to her mom. And so yeah, it's like
mm,
dark, and it's like
mm.
it's very effective I didn't cry during it, but then I turned it off and I was like, I just sat there alone in the house and I was really quiet and then I started to cry.
Oh,
But I was just like, oh, this is what tears are. Like
oh,
I haven't cried in
did
forever.
you taste them?
No,
Did you?
actually.
Oh,
They ran down not and maybe some snot,
oh.
but that was basically
Well, the
it.
next time you cry, try a pineapple before and tell me how that goes.
Okay, I
Because I
will.
really want to know if it changes the flavor.
Yeah, but definitely, I wonder if it works the same way with like asparagus pea. If you eat asparagus and then cry, it just like tastes really gross.
Yeah, it has that really weird smell. Like your tears start to smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't want to cry on your pillows because that'll
Yeah.
soak into the fabric.
Yeah. But anyway, Barbie.
Barbie, back to Barbie.
Barbie stat time. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Directed by Greta Gerwig and written by Greta Gerwig and her partner Noah Baumbach, who they have children with, I believe. I don't know if it's one or two, but they are they are a straight couple, and it comes across. Yeah. So the composers Mark Ronson.
Oh,
Great, good job on Mark Ronson. Mark Ronson, who produced Amy Winehouse's
yeah, of course.
huge hit album.
Yeah, of course. That's why I'm
Yeah,
like, what? I didn't realize.
yeah. Did you also really love the foot and car chase musical number
Foot
during
and
this?
car chase musical
It's like
number.
whenever she's running, Barbie's running from the Mattel executives, and it's
Yes.
really Scooby Doo.
Yes.
Yeah, that that was it's sampling a song from like the '90s, which I liked. That
I'm not,
yeah,
I think Barbie had a pretty great soundtrack, to be honest.
yeah. It's a Charlie XCX song, so
Oh,
it's
well, there
like
you go.
it's like charting on all the charts.
She's charting. Oops, I charted.
Oops, charted. Um, uh, uh, yeah, I needed a good chart. But so it's a yeah, it budgeted $100 million. It looks like $100 million.
It does, but they also spent more than that on advertising.
Yeah,
They spent almost $200 million
I
on
mean,
advertising,
freaking.
if I'm not mistaken.
Also, this movie should win an Oscar for advertising with that Barbenheimer thing.
Uh, John, it's genius.
Barbenheimer lucked out. Oppenheimer lucked out to be attached uh, by a coined word
Mm-hmm.
to Barbie. It's like
Yeah.
riding on the piggybacking off of the success, but I mean, so that it's not overshadowed. They just
Well,
call it
people
Barbenheimer.
people are trying to, and I saw this as a meme, but I also think it's really funny and clever. I guess Saw X and the new Paw Patrol movie are coming out on the same day, and they're
I
trying
love
to say
that.
Saw Patrol,
Saw
like,
Patrol. Yeah.
which I think is kind of brilliant and also really funny.
I
But
mean, if you're like an executive or like a marketing executive, you're going to be wanting to do that.
John, the marketing for this movie was insane.
Yeah, extremely viral. I think, what did it start off with? It started off with like those everybody putting their pictures in that little like star circle thing, and
Yes,
like this Barbie is blah blah blah.
which
Everybody started doing that. Yeah.
John, I saw a Pearl T-shirt, Pearl, and it says
Mhm.
"This Barbie is a star," and it has her with her axe behind her back.
That's
And I
funny.
was like, "That's amazing."
This Barbie is a star.
This Barbie is a star, and I'm like, listen. I mean, it honestly, it just like
But you know what?
it doesn't stop.
Missed
What?
opportunity because she does. I watched X again the other day. She doesn't call herself a star. She calls herself a sex symbol.
An X?
Yeah, in X she does. Oh, but in Pearl she does.
She's a
She says
star.
Star. Right, right.
In
right.
Pearl, she's a star because she's
Maxine is
Pearl.
different.
Maxine is a sex symbol.
Yeah, you know Halsey is going to be in the new Maxine.
Is she?
Yeah, which is
That's actually
very interesting.
We always come back to Pearl, everyone. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's
Always
hard
back
not to
Pearl.
talk about Mother.
It is. I know, mother,
I love
mother,
Mom.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Okay, back to Barbie. So this
Okay.
movie cost a ton of money.
And it is a $1 billion movie.
Officially,
I don't. It's definitely headed there. I know grossing right now, it's 852,681,000 ish. But I mean that it hasn't even left theaters yet. So
No, and
it's
here's the
gonna be
thing.
a billion for
It's going to be
sure.
a billion. And I agree with you. And here's why. Because yesterday, when me and Redacted were out to eat, we saw a gaggle of girls and gays all wearing
Yeah.
pink, and we were eating next to the movie theater.
And that's where were you? In Mesa, Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm glad that they are infecting the minds of the hardcore Christians that live there, like surreptitiously. Like here's Barbie, but also it's super gay.
Yeah.
Even though it's gay, though, I still felt on the outside of the story.
I don't see the thing is, can I be honest with you? I don't feel like this movie was gay. This movie didn't feel
Right.
gay,
Aesthetically, sure. Aesthetically, pink, bright. There's even references to beaching each other off.
which I think is hilarious. But like, I mean, come on. If you
It's
haven't
yeah.
in 2023, like, what are you
I mean,
doing?
what do you know? You gotta have a group beach off at some point.
Yeah, it's not gay to experiment.
No, it's really not. Like you're
Also,
not gonna.
it could be so much. You could literally, you could be Mitch McConnell.
Yeah,
Like,
being gay is being in a long-term same gender relationship uh for a long time and
yeah,
having no rights.
that's gay.
and
So
and having your and having the looming fear of like if you do get married it might be taken away.
yeah, that's gay.
That's what being gay is.
Barbie's not gay. Barbie's just pink.
Barbie doesn't understand the movie. Barbie doesn't really is blissfully and privilegedly unaware of all that being at stake.
Yeah, because Barbie doesn't know any better.
Exactly. However, Barbie is a woman.
Barbie is a woman.
And also this deals very much in the themes of women's rights and
Yes,
the women experience, especially in a capitalistic patriarchy culture of Americana
yes,
specifically. And I think the idea of America and the dream, especially rooted in the 1950s, whenever Barbie came out, is very much an overarching theme, and which was interesting. And I think it's interesting because what happens here in Barbie, she wakes up in to a perfect day in Barbie land, which is oh yeah. So obviously, if you are living under a rock, this is for you. Barbie is played by Margot Robbie, who
the
is
perfect representation of Barbie.
could not have cast a better Barbie. She's
Like literally, it was either her or Paris Hilton.
yeah, like that face is insane, and also Margot Robbie is insanely talented actor.
Can you imagine if they had cast Jeffree Star as Barbie?
Ugh,
Do
Jeffree
you?
Star
Can I tell you?
disgusts me.
Right, but can I tell you something? It was so weird because there were rumors floating around, and this was Chuck Palahniuk. It was Invisible Monsters. They were trying. There were rumors floating, and people were trying to get Jeffree Star to play.
Uh,
Oh, what is her name? It
well,
escapes me.
that would be deeply problematic now
Right.
because
Hmm.
he like
Yeah.
he's
Let's
very
not.
problematic views of
Let's.
gender identity
Yeah, I'm
for
so
sure.
sorry. I shouldn't even said his name on here, but let's not talk about him anymore. Let's
Right.
talk about the beauty that
Well,
is Margot
something
Robbie.
else super pink. Yeah, Margot Robbie, ugh, gorgeous whenever she wakes up in that bed.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a perfect face.
she doesn't have to do anything.
It is a perfect face. What's the gene pool there? How did you get that to that point? It's crazy. What do her parents even look like?
Honestly, I kind of want to know now.
Yeah. But this also stars, there's a lot of perfect faces in here, but Margot Robbie is one of them. Um, uh, yeah. What's his name again? Ryan Gosling plays
Yeah,
one of the Kens. It's
yeah.
Barbie Land. It's full of every iteration, an infinite iteration of Barbies possible.
Barbies and
Shape,
Kens,
size, genders, and
Midge and
skin
Allen.
tones and races. And then there's also Midge and Allen, who are
There's
like
Midge and Allen who are actually married
failed.
in the real world. Like in our world, they were supposed to be married.
Oh,
Midge and Allen.
interesting. And Midge and Alan are like the failed
They're the discontinued one.
the discontinued spin-off Barbies, and they're kind of like very normal looking.
Oh, speaking of Barbie, Barbie just released Weird Barbie as
I
a
saw
new
that.
official Barbie, which I
The
think is
Kate
really
McKinnon.
cool. Yes. But
Yeah.
I also think it's really funny too, because the first comment underneath was everyone has a Barbie that already looks like this.
Yeah. Exactly. Because like so the weird Barbie is played by Kate McKinnon, and in this
Amazing.
world, she represents the Barbie that every little girl who played with Barbies had, where they played too hard.
Yeah.
And that's like it cuts to her actual human playing with her and like singeing the hair with a lighter, and like and it's always in the splits, always in the splits.
Good for
um
her.
yeah, so like Barbie, like I don't know, like you have to just see it to really get a synopsis of it, because she just wakes up and she starts having, it's a perfect day every single day. All of her friends are Barbie. There Barbie, Issa Rae is a Barbie
President
president.
Barbie.
Also, another perfect face is Issa Rae.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I think every single face that played Barbie in this was a pretty perfect face for
Yeah,
Barbie.
Hari Neff plays the doctor. She also has a perfect face. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's really weird to have all those perfect faces. And the Kens, Simu Leo is,
Um,
I don't know what's going on with Simu Leo, but it's just like, it's too perfect for me.
okay, but can I tell you that at the fight scene, which we
I
might
was
get
into
to,
it.
okay, he lifts his leg up at one point and you
Yeah,
can see so far down his
I
shorts.
know. I saw it too.
You
I was
did because
there.
John,
I clocked it. It's for like a split second.
I was gazing hard. I was like, oh,
I was
I
like,
said all the way.
dude, Greta Gerwig knows what she's doing.
He is a very attractive man.
I mean, they're like, there's a Ken off, there's a Ken war.
I like Ken off.
Like, at the end, which is basically the climax, which doesn't involve Barbie, which is crazy to me. It's crazy.
They
It's a
set it
weird
up.
choice. It's a weird choice. But so like there's a whole war. It's very musical. It's very emotional for the Kens. And yeah, because Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling are rival Kens.
They are.
They're just rivals. And nobody really knows why. And it doesn't
I
matter.
I no, it doesn't because you're in Barbie land. Nothing here matters because nothing's real.
Yeah. And so yeah, anyway, so Barbie starts to have an existential crisis, and she doesn't really know why. Her feet become flat. She starts thinking about death and dying, and her own mortality and her place in the world. And she's like sad. And so she goes to, they tell her that like if she continues so something is happening with her person in the real world who owns her and plays with her, and it's affecting, and if she keeps going down this path, she's going to end up just like weird Barbie.
Which is not a bad thing in my opinion.
No, I mean, she looks great. It's Kate McKinnon, who also has a perfect face, but it's
Right.
just like so she goes and sees weird Barbie, who just describes everything in detail of what's really going on. There's been
Yeah.
something has caused a rift or a portal to open between the Barbie land and the real world. And so Barbie must go into the real world and find her person who plays with her, and just like bring her back to that blissful, hopeful place, and be like, what are you doing to me, what you're doing, and blah blah blah. Just figure out the situation. So she does. She goes by way of first a car. What was the second one? Like a
I think
boat and a rocket ship.
a rocket ship, a what looks like a VW bus,
Yeah.
something else,
And then,
a bike setting through poppies, and then rollerblades.
right, rollerblades, which brings them to Venice Beach.
Yes, the real
So,
world.
the real world, which is Los Angeles, California, at the
Hmm.
beach. And they get arrested immediately.
Yeah, but not
Which,
after going up to construction workers and telling them I don't have a vagina and I don't have a penis.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
I
really
thought
funny.
was I thought that
I
was a
actually think it was
very
really funny.
I thought that was hilarious too. I got a
I
laugh out
think
of
it's
me,
really, really funny.
and I was like, "Whoa, you guys are crazy!" But
Like this movie's wild, dude. Like this is Barbie, but this is like wild.
but it's like PG-13, and they're just coming out and saying it. Even towards the end, Issa Rae comes out and she's like, "That's
She's
right,
like, "Hey,
motherfuckers."
motherfucker!" But the Mattel sign comes out and bleeps it.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
really
funny.
on the nose.
It's
It's really
it's
funny.
it's like Mattel said that we can't do this.
Yeah, but Mattel was also like, "We can do a little bit."
Yeah, they pushed the envelope a
They
bit.
really did.
But
This
Greta
movie
Gerwig,
pushes the envelope, especially for Barbie. But for those of you
yeah.
out there who don't know, Barbie was actually um, so there was I think it was a German doll, correct me if I'm wrong, and
Mm,
she was a sex worker. And Barbie is based off of a sex worker. So for all of you who are
no.
like, I can't believe they said this, Barbie's history is a little bit more,
Was it an adult a doll for adults?
yeah, like no joke, like basically an escort. It,
Ooh, crazy. And then
no
Mattel
joke.
got a hold of it and was like, you know what? We should just make this about hair play.
Really? So Barbie was based primarily off of a different doll, but that doll was a sex worker.
Yeah. How did you feel? Let's just go into a little bit here with Barbies. What was your child? Everybody has a
I
childhood
had a Barbie.
experience. Yeah, like no matter your gender, you have a relationship to Barbie in some
I
capacity.
had two Barbies. My grandma, and I think we've talked about this. My grandma got me a Dorothy Barbie and a Wicked Witch of the or the Wicked Witch of the
That
West.
those are probably really good Barbies to have,
I
I
had
would
those
say.
Barbies.
Those are
So,
that's cool. Like I I have two older brothers, and so Barbie wasn't in the mix at home. But whenever it was all GI Joes and whatnot, and but it's like and action figures of like Batman and
well, I
things like
also had
that.
those as well.
Yeah, but I mean, because there wasn't a reason for them to be around. Like
Oh, because
if I
without
had a
sisters.
sister, I could play with them, or they would be like around and in the mix. And I saw it whenever we went to visit like cousins who had like who were girls, and yeah, Barbies would be incorporated into the boy play as well.
Yeah.
Like um for example, we had cousins who were like into WrestleMania, like those like action figures with like the wrestling rink and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
You have all of your crazy like characters. Um, and they would incorporate the Barbies into like whatever scenario it was.
I mean, why not?
I was like, this is so cool. And like also, so what I mean, I was always like fascinated by the Barbies. And like you would go into the girls' room and there'd be like naked Barbies just like thrown around.
Do you know which Barbies I loved the most?
Yeah.
The ones that had that weird fleshy material on the outside and you couldn't see the hinges on the leg and it clicked when you moved it.
I remember that
I loved, I
because it was
loved when
more
the,
realistic.
yeah, the knees and everything clicked. It was so
Yeah.
wild.
But then like the skin would tear and break and it'd be like a hairline fracture.
So there you are. They had so many iterations.
They did have like the realistic skin Barbie.
Yeah, they had the ones that had like that weird, it wasn't like the plasticky. It still
Yeah, it
felt
was
like a
like
little,
a rubbery, silicone.
it was like a Stretch Armstrong material before Stretch Armstrong was a thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was like this weird thing.
But
Oh yeah.
sorry,
No,
I digress.
no. But yeah. But anyway, so I guess I was always like fascinated with the Barbies, and I feel like if I had a Barbie, I would have played with it.
I did. I was
Yeah,
lucky. I was fortunate.
good for you.
Well, it was my grandma. My parents never would have. But I
Yeah,
mean, look how I turned out. It didn't matter anyway.
they were always like so much bigger proportioned or taller proportion than like the boys' toys. Even the action figures
Always,
were always like super small or
always.
much smaller. It's like Barbie was like a specific size
Yeah.
that
Which they did in this movie too. Just FYI, they actually scaled things to the way Barbie
they
stood,
did. The
but
yeah,
they
like
scaled it so that even in the homes, when Barbie's in her house, in our world, in real life, she's still too big for her home. So they did it in
yeah.
this. They scaled things to for the proportions of Barbie's bodies, so that it still felt like everything was still a
Like
little
you're playing
off.
with Barbie.
Uh
That's
huh.
the I did notice that too, because like she's like as tall as the first story of her Barbie dream
Right.
house.
And she's also too big for her car.
Yeah, I
She's
love
just
that. That's such a
yeah.
good, that's such a specific detail that like you catch
John,
upon.
there were
Like,
so many details in this movie where even Weird Barbie's dog Tanner. So Weird
I
Barbie
remember
was a
Tanner.
Tanner was a real freaking dog, a
Did it really
pooping.
poop?
Yeah, it really pooped. Tanner was a pooping dog that came with a Barbie, who I think Weird Barbie's based off of, and I can't remember her name.
That's so funny
But
because
Tanner came in the box with her,
I
and it
remember
had poops.
I remember that dog, but I did not know that it actually
It was a
pooped.
pooping dog.
That's crazy.
So they even put that little element in there.
Ew, that's sort of like in the same vein as like peeing dolls.
I remember them
Ugh,
peeing dolls.
I hate it. Crazy. Crazy. Like, what are they trying to do?
I have no idea. They're just trying to prepare you for the what real world for when your baby is a.
Yeah, they're literally being put and groomed and trained into a gender role from
It's
day
weird.
one.
It's
It's
pretty
very
weird.
crazy, crazy weird.
It's pretty weird.
Um,
So they're arrested immediately.
yeah, Ken discovers the patriarchy.
He loves
Uh,
horses,
he's like he thinks that patriarchy is just all horses.
which is
And
hilarious, actually.
yeah, Ryan Gosling does such a good job as Ken in this. He was like really standout funny.
He
His delivery
honestly,
was like,
everyone in this movie was pretty freaking funny.
yeah. Will Ferrell plays the
He
CEO of
does.
Mattel.
Uh
Also
huh.
does a good job. It's giving Elf for me, which was
So it's
good.
giving Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he can. I
Will
mean,
Ferrell was giving Will Ferrell.
he seems like super chill and fun to work
I
with.
was happy to
Probably.
see him in this movie, though, to be
Yeah,
honest.
me too. And also his like crew of executives.
Yeah. Executive number two. I like how he refers to them as their executive numbers
Yeah,
because, like,
and they're credited
they
as
would have been,
executive number one and
yeah,
two,
they would have been the credits as that anyway.
despite being like popular actors themselves. Um, yeah. Also, there's Emerald Fennell plays pregnant Midge.
I'm not actually sure who that is.
She directed Promising Young Woman.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And
That movie, Promising Young Woman, I had some thoughts on.
I had thoughts too. I wanted murder. I wanted
Yeah,
murder. I really wanted murder.
I had thoughts on that movie, but we're not doing that. Let's do, well,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe one day we'll come back and do Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean,
So,
but yeah, it's like so his like right hand is I forgot his name. Oh my God. But he has like five lines throughout the course of the movie. He's like the dark-haired one
yeah.
to
Mhm.
his right constantly. Yeah, he is in a really funny British comedy series called Stath Lets Flats, and he plays a bumbling idiot real
Wait, where are
estate
you watching
agent.
that show? Tell me, because I want to watch it
Ooh,
too.
ooh, I don't know. I think it's like on Netflix or Hulu or
I'll
something.
Google it.
Yeah, it's easy to find, but yeah, you'll see him and he's like really funny.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna watch that.
and his sister is a Nadia from What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
She's really funny too, and she's in Stathlets Flats as as siblings, and she's crazy in that show. I think you would really like it.
okay. I'm gonna watch it then.
Anyway, so where are we? So they get.
Oh,
Sorry, I just scrolled past a picture of Simu Liu, and he's got arms.
yeah. He's got face. He's
I mean,
got
we all got
body.
we all have a face, and we all have arms, and we all have body, but
He's
Simu
got
Liu,
he's got all of it.
what is going on with you?
Very,
The
very,
genetics
very, very attractive.
can't handle it. That smile, it's
Mm.
it's crazy.
Okay,
Anyway,
and so back to this movie.
go take it from here.
So I'm not really sure how. Okay, so I don't want to do like a crazy breakdown of this. I do want
Yeah,
people to watch this, and also this movie is so crazy, like it's really hard. But so basically, Barbie ends up. So what does happen?
she does. She does find her person, and who has a brooding daughter who hates Barbies, and she
Right?
discovers that it's not this like 16-year-old girl that plays with her. It's the mom herself, and
Yeah, it's the mom.
she's been down and out lately, and she's been drawing and conceptualizing. She works for Mattel, and she designs Barbies, and she
Yeah.
was thinking of pitching like existential crisis Barbie,
And Depression Barbie, which that
depression
fake
Barbie.
commercial is really funny.
They did do a fake
They
commercial.
did a fake commercial for Depression Barbie, and it's really
It's
funny.
I totally forgot about that. It's so fast. See, it's just
It's
like this movie throws everything at you so quickly. It's just like you have to just giggle a little bit and then start paying attention to something else.
yeah,
It's one thing after the next. So Barbie, she teams up with this woman and child. The woman is played by America Ferrera,
amazing and
and
beautiful.
yeah, she's good. I mean, she was she from
Ugly Betty.
she is Ugly
She's Ugly
Betty.
Betty fame.
Yeah,
But
TV fame.
she's been in a million different things, but Ugly
Yeah,
Betty I think is
right.
where she kind of like
That
got
was
her
her thing
major start.
as a young actoire. So she takes Barbie back to Barbie Land where they discover that all the Kens have taken over.
Yeah.
They have taken over. They are like they're imposing all the patriarchy onto Barbie Land. And the Barbies are kind of cool with it.
Some of the Barbies are like, you know what? We don't have to pretend to be anything. We're
Yeah.
just out here having a good old time.
President Barbie is like serving beer brewskis.
They do have beer in this, which I was like, this is wild. And you have John Cena, who's like the merman, and then
Uh,
Dua Lipa as the
do,
mermaid. That's so funny. And she's also offering beer. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I thought Dua Lipa was a pleasant surprise. John Cena is hilarious.
yeah, I love Dua Lipa's dirty, dusty wig. And I liked his
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he had a really dirty, dusty wig.
And I love that they did that. And there was a reason behind it too, because those Barbies, and I remember everyone was like, why are these wigs so ratty? Because the
Really?
actual mermaid Barbies, their hair looked just like that. It looked like a hard front wig, but like super plastic and weird.
Is
So
it
they
because
just
they
ran
needed
with
it
it.
to be like waterproof? Because I remember a
Yeah.
thing.
Uh-huh.
I remember a thing about the actual Barbies is that their head, like their squishy heads, like if you put them in water, they would
They
just
would get
absorb all the
water and get
water.
moldy, but they would
Yeah,
also get moldy on the inside.
because they would fill with water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that's the reason.
like you want to play with Barbies. Like here's one you can play in the
Uh-huh.
bath. Is that
Yeah,
what?
so that anywhere with
Yeah,
water, you could take your mermaid and merman Barbie. And I thought that was really funny that
yeah.
they just did the same thing.
They had to
They're
do the
like,
waterproof hair.
yeah.
Which is hilarious. Also, details.
It is. That's what I love about the details in this movie are
It's my favorite
absolutely
part.
insane.
It's
It's
yeah.
absolutely insane.
The set design
The set was
is
incredible.
incredible.
Let's power through it, and then we can talk
Oh,
more
right.
about
So
the things we love.
the Kens, are half of the Kens are convinced that Barbie needs to be back in power, and the other half are like, no, we like this patriarchy way too much, and they feud and they war and they have the song, and then Ken comes to the realization that he loves Barbie, and Barbie he doesn't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. He's like he prefers his subservient role, and he goes back to it. And he's like, I'm sorry, Barbie, and she's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so the Barbies are okay, but then the Mattel guys show up. They have come to
Yeah.
Barbie Land, and they are very easily convinced that that they're wrong and stuff, and
Yeah.
that and so the ghost of the creator of Barbie,
Which is hilarious. Rhea Perlman.
Rita Perlman, shows up, and I saw her in Gelson's.
You did?
I did.
I am jealous.
It
She's
was
one of my she always.
she's tiny,
I'm sure she is.
so
Since
like
Cheers.
yeah, so unassuming presence, and then I double taked, and then I purposefully did not look at her again because we were like looking at the same crackers, and so yeah, so I didn't want her to like freak out. But so anyway,
I would
she
have looked at her and been like this, and then been like, "Do you know where the restroom is?"
like play it up like,
Yeah,
oh no, here goes
yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
one.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then I bet you she would have got a good kick out of it because she would have knew that you recognized her, but you
and you are
didn't.
making a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
John, that's
such a
exactly what I would have done.
okay, because I have never approached all the celebrities I've seen here in Los Angeles. I'm going to do it.
Be
I'm
like,
gonna.
Do
I'll
you know
make
where the
it.
restroom is?
Hmm. Oh, that would have been so awkward because there was one time I didn't experience this, but I heard about it. I was working for a shop, and we had to like ship all like these crazy heads to some singer on a tour in Puerto Rico, and which is a weird string of words I just said, but
That
like
is. I'm
uh
actually processing them as you speak.
yeah, and so we had to like rush. It was a rush thing, and it was the day before Thanksgiving, so we were like on deadline, and so we got everything to the UPS store, and apparent well, I didn't because I had to go home, but like I heard about it the next day, and none other than Salma Hayek was at the Van Nuys UPS store.
Are you serious? She takes her own mail?
Right?
Wait, I kind of live for that actually.
Which is crazy.
John, she's married to like a literal billionaire.
I know.
She doesn't have to do anything for herself.
I know. And she was there by herself. And but it was a very busy UPS store. And then people obviously are like looking and recognizing her because like who wouldn't? And so this one girl kept looking at her, they said, and like she looked at the girl, Salma Hayek looked at the girl and was like, "You recognize me, don't you?" And then she was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you want a picture?" But they said like her demeanor was kind of like, "Of course you recognize me," and like loves it.
I'm
But, like,
sure
why
she
wouldn't
lives for,
you know?
but honestly, that's also really cool. Like, you know what? If it's gonna be anyone, like, I would also, if I were in
Yeah,
the presence of Salma Hayek, I'd be kind of like, oh,
I would kind of not want to say hi, but to your plan, if I had been there and had done that, that would have been so funny because she's like, "You recognize me, don't you?" And I'd just be like, "Do you know
do
where
you
the
know?
bathroom is?"
No, for real. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, obviously you recognize this person, but at that point, for me to break the awkwardness, because like
Yeah,
I'm also not, listen, I like the idea of celebrity, but like fawning over somebody, I'm like, girl, I
I
don't
don't know.
care.
I
You're
did it
just
with,
rich.
but I don't know. You have to be there. I mean, I saw Tessa Thompson also in Gelson's, and I like started to break down.
See, I
I
might
was like,
trip
I don't know
over
what to
that.
do. I was like, I don't know what to do. I saw Julianne Moore at the store that I worked at. It was
I bet you she looked gorgeous.
she did look. She looked so gorgeous.
I
Like
bet you she looked gorgeous.
she walked into the room and she was
That red
wearing,
hair, John. Okay, I might flip over her,
yeah, like her presence was like insane.
but I'd be is your
Like
hair?
she walked into the room and like owned the room. Like
Oh, I'm sure she did.
it was like almost closing. No one was in there. And I think she was like, it looked like she was on her way to like a business dinner because like she walked in with like this great like uh black and white pantsuit,
Oh,
and it looked like really fancy.
I'm just imagining her in
And she
it.
just like walked into the room, and like I didn't have my glasses on, so I looked at her and I was just like, "Hi, how's it going?" And like, and then she like smiled at me and said hi, and like paused for a second, and then realized that I worked there, and I put my glasses on and saw what just happened. Crazy. I was like, if I had my glasses on, and I wouldn't have been like, "Hey."
He would have been like, "Oh Lord, okay, I'm so sorry. We got off track from Rhea Perlman, but
Oh, right, right,
I want
right.
more celebrity stories
Okay.
later
Tune in
for
next
sure.
week for more
I
celebrity
want more
stories.
celebrity sightings because I think,
I love
John,
it.
I don't think I've, I don't think I've ever met a famous person.
I mean, live in Los Angeles long enough, you're gonna see them around. They're everywhere.
I mean, freaking Kendall Jenner used to go to the Nectar right to next door to where I worked, literally
No
next door to where
way.
I work.
Oh
When
well,
she was
and
here, because she was dating the what's that basketball player's name?
right. Oh, so she was in town.
Yeah, so she was in town. So people would flip out over that, but I'm like, who cares? And so
Good lord. Yeah, I don't know what if I would do if I saw a Kardashian,
I
but
mean,
if I had seen, I feel like, yeah. Anyway, so Barbie.
Barbie. So back to Rhea
Barbie's back to
Perlman.
norm. Rhea Perlman, it gets very meta at this point. It's like the most meta of all the meta things that have happened thus far.
Yeah.
And she takes her into like this blank space, and she's like, because Barbie wants to be a real girl and live
Yes.
in the real world.
Yeah. Let's
And
come on, Barbie.
yeah, let's go party.
Yeah.
And she uh I was gonna do a cum joke, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
No,
do
that's
it.
fine. I
This is a
mean,
family program.
yeah,
So she 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 iterates the stakes of what will happen to her existence and whatnot. She's like, I want that experience. And there's no coming back to being just a doll. So Rhea Perlman snaps her fingers and makes her a real woman. And what's the first thing she does do? She
she
goes to
does.
the
I like do's.
gynecologist.
She does. And I think that joke is actually so funny. And I love how it slaps Barbie immediately afterwards. Like it slaps Barbie onto the screen.
Barbie.
The joke is so unexpected and out of left field because I'm like, she's in Birkenstocks, pink, and you think she's going to go look for a job, but she's literally going to the gynecologist because she now has a vagina.
Yeah.
And that's how Barbie ends. And it's so insane.
It's crazy.
This movie's so insane.
I
I
mean, I don't know. But at the end of it, so I saw it in um on a rooftop cinema club in downtown LA.
that sounds so cool though.
That's what I love about living in a movie town. There's so many ways to see movies
I
here.
didn't, John, I have to go to a freaking stuffy theater on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a gorgeous summer night. It didn't start playing until the sun went down, which is like 8:30.
I
And
love that.
and
That sounds
it's bring your own
awesome.
food.
I was gonna say, did you guys bring like picnic stuff? Because that sounds
I did, and it's so good. And it's better than like the Cinespia one, which is in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. It's all on the
oh,
ground. This one had like padded uh furniture.
that's cool.
Yeah. And so
That's cool.
we got the love seat. So it was like super cozy, not a lot of people. It was sold out, but there's not a million seats. And
That's
like
good.
you can drink, just have a good time. It projects onto the side of the neighboring building, which is
What?
crazy. Yeah. And so it's kind of a perfect, we should do it whenever you come here.
We're
It's really good.
going. The John, that sounds so magical. We're doing it.
Yeah, it's a fun time, it's an experience, but you can see everyone around you.
I'm cool
It's
with that.
Yeah, and you have your own private little headphones.
Right. I was gonna say they have to
Yeah.
find a way to make it so that people aren't benefiting off of Barbie playing on a wall.
Right. And also it's downtown LA. They're not gonna like blast Barbie down the
I kind of
streets.
wish they would.
Yeah. Anyway, so for me, I could see everybody, the audience. I can see the audience, and like it was very just like hetero vibes.
Was it?
Yeah.
It
It was
was.
it was just very hetero and not it was just like boys and girls, and this movie just is very boys and girls for me. And
That's
I
fair.
walked away feeling very conflicted about that.
I just was conflicted by it. I don't even know if I was conflicted by the boys and girls, like the
Yeah.
boys versus girls of it all, because like that's very like, I mean, it feels,
It is what children do.
it is. It's a boys and girls type of like, ew, gross, and this and that, like girls
Yeah.
and boys have cooties type of
Yeah.
situation.
I don't know if I should get on my high horse about the whole gender of it all, but I mean, like, I just get annoyed whenever I'm like
Because
experiencing
technically,
them.
they all don't have genders. They don't have anything. They're just dolls. And so,
Yeah.
like, but I do get the aspect of like the whole patriarchy thing, which is very gendered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna, so I guess let's get into our rating. Let's get
Okay,
into
yeah,
our
go
rating
for
of
it.
it because, okay, so out of 10 weird Barbie split, while Tanner the dog shits in the background, I'm gonna give this movie, I think I want to give it a 7. Um,
That's
I
fair.
don't think I want to give it anything higher just because, like, and don't get me wrong, like, I don't think a 7's bad by any means.
No,
I
no.
thought this movie, for me, I enjoyed this movie after
Yeah.
I had some time to think about it because I was very conflicted when I laughed when I was watching it, but
Yes.
afterwards I
But it
was
doesn't
like,
make it a masterpiece, obviously, if it's
no,
funny.
no, and I thought it was really cool. I loved the message. I thought Ferrera's delivery of her monologue was so amazing. I thought it was
Yeah.
so cool, and I love the message of the movie. I absolutely do. I love the message. I think overall, like, it's very, very. The
Meta.
word still escapes me though, because it's not over. It is overwhelming in a sense, but everything feels like you're taking in so much at once that
Hmm.
it's really hard to pay attention to the colors, to like John says, the pacing so quick, so things are kind of blink and you miss.
Yeah.
um or there are things that you watched and you would have forgot, like John forgot the Depression Barbie commercial, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some things that I missed because, but overall, fully enjoyed this movie. I like
Yes.
really did enjoy this movie, but with that being
Yes.
said, I do
Hmm.
think in hindsight, I probably could have waited until it started streaming.
Me too. And I was going to, but I was like, we got to do Barbie on
I
the
really
show.
wanted to watch it, and I also
Yeah.
wanted them to make their billion because Margot Robbie Barbo. So
Barbo Gabi.
yeah, Barbo Gabby. So she did tell Greta Gerwig, I think it was Greta Gerwig, maybe it was the studios, we
Yeah.
can make $1 billion on this, and I really want that to happen
Right.
a for a movie like this because nobody would have thought.
Also, yeah, I think Greta Gerwig is now the first woman director to gross this much money.
Good for her. I'm happy for her, and I hope this
Great.
leads to
You
some
know,
amazing things.
yeah, I like Greta Gerwig. I haven't seen Little Women. I think she's really smart and talented. And I want to see what original thing she does next because I feel like it's been a long time since she's been able to because it's such a ladder in the industry.
Yeah,
It's you have to jump through all the hoops and you have to do the intellectual property thing to get anywhere. And I'm
I think this was
sure,
smart though. I think this was a
oh,
smart move for her.
absolutely,
This
absolutely.
was
And
super smart move for her.
yeah, her and her partner wrote it. So it's like
And the
I
detail they put into, I'm not kidding. The
yeah,
detail in this movie is
Barbie Land
honestly
needs
an
to be at
absolute 10.
they
It is
need to
an
make absolute 10. Production design, insane.
it's actually insane what they were able to create with this. I'm not joking. The costumes, the wardrobing, the like there are so many things about this movie that are a 10, but like at the end of it, once you put the whole package together, it's not a complete 10. But that's okay because there's so many great things to love
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah. I mean, people are like lauding this as a masterpiece, and I think that's a little overdoing it for me. Do I like it? I can appreciate so much about it, what it means, the significance of this being largely successful,
Yeah.
and like Greta being able to make it fully her own through her
Mm-hmm.
voice and her unique perspective on and the statement that it makes. Like that's really great because it could have just been like a dumb Barbie movie,
Yeah.
but it's not. And the jokes are so funny
They
throughout.
they are funny.
They come out of left field. They're saying something with the joke. Just like the vapidness of all the Kens is hilarious.
This movie is genuinely funny.
Yeah, and like, but after they get to the real world and start getting into the Mattel corporate villain, I feel like that could have just been left out. Like, I don't know. It's like I get it, but it's also like I kind of just wanted to see Barbie in this whole crazy world trying to navigate the real world, which she does do. But it kind of started to like fall apart for me or to lose me really was whenever she like looks at the old lady at the bus stop and it's like, "You're beautiful."
It's
And then
so weird that you should say that.
I was
And
just
I'm
like,
going to
"Oh,
tell
like
you why.
okay."
Well,
Yeah.
because Greta Gerwig, they studios wanted to cut it. They wanted to cut that scene. So it's weird that you're saying that, but Greta Gerwig was like, we can't cut that scene. Like the movie would still be the exact same without it. But she's like, I wouldn't know what this movie is if we don't leave it. Because Barbie has never seen an old woman before. So the only thing she can see is the beauty of it. It's all about the whole point of being a woman and aging, I think, is why they wanted to leave it.
Yeah.
But you're also, the studio
Totally
was
for
also
me.
like, get out. Like, we don't need it.
Right, that I don't it's not the whole moment itself, like the significance of the moment, yes, it stays, but
Yeah.
the execution of that for me, I was like, oh no. And then like the whole like being led by the maker into a void was weird.
Yeah, that was a little it was a little strange. I did like though when they were
Yeah.
flashing all the images on the screen. That was the cast and crews, mothers,
I read that too, and I
aunts, and I
liked
think
that.
that's really cute and
Yeah,
sweet.
I really
It
did
is
like that.
weird
Yeah.
walking into the void, but I also thought it was really funny when you find out that she's the creator's ghost who has an office on the 27, what is it, the 70 some floor. I thought that was so funny.
And like Will Ferrell
Um,
just like says it
yeah,
as like a
yeah,
toss
it's
away.
so nonchalant.
Yeah.
Oh, her ghost has an office on this floor. Like,
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah,
this
there's like
movie's so crazy.
I would also out of 10 uh 10 almost Simulios taints.
I was just thinking that. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, well, we also have to personally thank Greta Gerwig
That
for keeping that in the edit
for
because
that
you
moment.
know what you did.
She knows exactly what she did, and I was there
And
for
thank
it.
you. We just want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you
Um,
so much.
I would also give it a 7. I wouldn't do an 8, and I also wouldn't do a 6 because that feels like 6
I
feels
don't
like
think it's a 6. I think this movie is like a good solid 7.
a 7, despite there being so many perfect things about Barbie Land. Barbie Land, it needs to be a um a theme park somewhere
Uh,
immediately.
can I tell you?
Are they doing
I
it?
was just going to tell you the first ever Barbie Land is going to be at a brand new structure built in Maricopa.
Maricopa.
They're building this insane resort here. I'm talking massive, and Barbie is coming
Is it
to
because
Arizona, the first one.
Barbie is in the desert?
I
Or
don't know. I have no idea. All I know is they're
I want it
doing
to be
this
here.
insane Barbie attraction that's going to be here. And this resort, I'm not joking, is one of,
Wow,
it's absolutely massive. And
that's crazy.
they're going to have shows where you can watch everything from the water. You can be in the water going to shows to see like live musicians in the water. They
What
won't
is
be, but you'll
happening?
be.
What's
People are going
going
to drown.
What is going on over there?
I
Where
don't
is this?
I don't know. It's going to be in like, I don't want to say Glendale. I kind of can't remember.
It's
Glendale ish.
Arizona for everybody who doesn't know.
Yeah.
They're United States.
It's going to be in Arizona, and it's going to be so, they've already like,
That's
isn't
so they
that
get the
weird?
first Barbie land?
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate that. Arizona
That's so
doesn't
funny.
deserve that.
No, I mean, honestly, we don't deserve much. Also, it's made completely out of plastic. It's going to melt immediately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's going to be an off season for sure.
There will be an off season for Barbie. They're going to have to do repairs on anything that's made out of a
118
material that's
degree
not
heat.
steel.
Everything's going to be like sun bleached and gross in a year.
John, it was, oh my gosh, it was 117 yesterday, and
I'm
it was so
sorry.
stupid. I was like, I could die. Like, I could die.
Yeah, it's getting bad here in LA too. It's very hot summer for LA. Like I went to a little spot nearby to try to do some like writing or whatever, and I had to just leave. Like it was oppressive, even in the shade. I was like, I
Yeah,
gotta get out of here.
it's really, I just can't, I can't deal with this. And it's just getting worse,
Yeah.
but it's fine. We're all still here. We have an
Yeah.
air conditioned home that I'm sitting in. So I'm
You know
good.
what? Yeah, this life will end before the humanity does. So that's at least we're alive in a time where we won't see the actual extinction event.
Yeah. So for those of you who do, if you're listening to this in the future and the extinction is upon you,
Yeah, just
watch Barbie. It's probably streaming somewhere.
yeah. By now,
By now,
it's
it's
gonna be out
streaming.
there. They probably like it's probably the only movie that made it
Barbie's the only
that
thing people can watch.
survived.
It's like the history.
They're like, wow, people were crazy back then.
The history of the world is based off of the Barbie navigating patriarchy.
Exactly. And then they model everything after it.
Yeah,
So
it's
everything,
history.
the whole world is literally a Barbie land.
Yeah, and Greta Gerwig is like their she's like she's like the leader of the faction basically.
Yeah, she's like their messiah.
Yeah. I like that.
Well, Greta Gerwig, good on you. We uh, appreciate you, and you're extremely talented. And I'm sorry it's a 7, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
For me at least. I'm for other people, I'm sure it's a 10 and they think it's perfect. I mean, listen, my favorite movie of all time is Starship Troopers, which I just watched again the other day for I don't know how many
Yeah.
times. I
Yeah.
went and watched it again. Listen, everything we say is our opinion. If you guys love this, that's so amazing for you. Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy for you. Movies are supposed to make you feel something and feel good.
Well,
And
I can tell you, it's going to be a lot of teenagers' sexual awakening movie.
100%, John, 100%. There's going to be so many little
Yeah,
gays who don't realize until Ken shows up,
yeah.
all of the Kens,
And
because all the
this
Kens
is
are
a
good
movie
looking.
that you can be like a closeted teenager and watch this movie,
And if
and
you're a girl watching this and you don't realize you're a leser yet, you
it's
the
gonna
second
happen.
you lay eyes on any one of the Barbies,
Look,
you're going to be like, oh, it's over for me.
yeah. In that way, this is a very gay one, but like secret gay,
Secretly gay.
and you can
Yeah.
watch it and not be
Except
afraid
for
that people
Magic Earring Ken, who was not secretly gay. And
magic
sugar
earring, magic
Magic Earring
earring. Was
Ken.
that in the movie too?
Yeah, briefly for 2 seconds. Magic
Crazy.
Earring Ken was a discontinued doll that was like a gay Ken, like gay. And then
Nice.
there was Sugar Daddy Ken, but only because Sugar Daddy Ken, he had a dog named Sugar and he was the dad of it.
Oh
And
my
it was
gosh.
so gay. And they were in it for 2.5 seconds. And they make very full mention of it at Weird Barbie's house.
There's like
They
so much
show
going
up.
on.
They're there for 2 seconds. There's so much that happens, but you guys
I
go
think
watch this movie.
for that reason alone, I will definitely watch it again just to get some more
Oh,
details.
no, I'm 100% going to watch this movie again once it streams. I like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a perfect movie, but I
No,
think
yeah.
this movie's super fun. I think it's funny. I think the production was seriously knockout,
They pulled it
100%.
out. They really hit a home run on that.
Every other thing about this, I'm just like, wow. Story, it was okay.
Yeah,
The story's okay, but guess what? Everything else to me is an absolute 10. But
absolutely.
since we're talk about story and that's what we do, we're not over here breaking down numbers based off of score in this musical
Look,
score.
look.
Go to someone else for that.
Yeah,
We're talking story.
if I were writing the Barbie movie, like I would be subject to extensive studio notes as well.
Right. And I'm sure they were. And you
Yeah,
know what? Whatever.
fully. Oh, but can we just quickly? I know we're running over.
Oh, we are, but that's okay.
Barbie Rotten Tomatoes. We're gonna skip on over to our good friends over at
Yeah,
rottentomatoes.com.co.uk.
Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, interesting.
Sure. What is it?
It only has an 88% tomatometer.
Oh, well,
I
that's
was
fine.
with all the talk and the hoopla, I was expecting it to be like at least 99.
I mean, 88 is still pretty damn good,
It's
especially
good.
for Rotten Tomatoes. And I
Yeah.
bet you the audience score is probably, give me a
Yes.
second. Can I guess?
Yes.
Okay. Audience score is like probably a 93.
84,
Oh, audience gave it.
which is
Okay.
weird.
I think we fall more in line with the audience then on this one.
I expected the audience to just like be eating it up.
Me too. I kind of expected that as well.
Yeah, but I mean, like 84 is like a B minus, which is fine.
That's still good.
It's just cool. Like I see it. I see
Yeah,
it.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
So go watch They Clone Tyrone.
Yeah, go watch They Clone Tyrone on Netflix right now. And Barbie, you got to pay to see it in theaters at this point. And next week you'll probably watch and listen to us doing maybe the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Or Kroll. We don't know yet.
Oh no, Kroll. Yeah, that's right.
Should
that's
we
right,
do
that's
Kroll?
right. We should absolutely do
Or
Kroll.
should we do something that more people have heard of?
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this, you still have time. Let us know if we should do Super Mario
Kroll?
Brothers or Kroll from back in the day. Google if you don't know. And
that's KRULL.
Yes. And just let us know over on Instagram at Mean Girls Interrupted.
We'll put a poll up. How about that? And you guys decide what movie we want. And if you guys don't vote, then we're gonna decide.
Yeah. So let us know. You have the power, listener. So you enjoy your drive to work, your exercise on the treadmill,
Yeah.
Thank you
That
for listening.
massive bong rip right after or before breakfast.
Yes. You're going around cleaning the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Picking up dog shit in the neighbor's yard.
yeah, whatever you're doing while you're listening to Mean Girls Interrupted,
Mm-hmm.
you are our meanies.
You are meanies.
You are our meanies. You are our personal friends. So with that, we'll have to just see you at the movies.
Roll the credits. That weird fight scene between Alan and the construction workers
Oh,
felt
right.
so weird and misplaced. But
That's kind of
anyway,
crazy.
Barbie.
Barbie.
Bye.
Bye.